All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another great fun-filled spotlight session. Today we have Ben of Bengineering Inspections, who is a really great home inspector. He also does commercial as well. Just has a wealth of experience, ton of knowledge, and he's going to give us a great rundown of his process, how he goes through his inspections and things like that. Feel free to ask questions. He's here to give us all his knowledge. Thanks a lot for joining us, Ben.
Okay, thank you very much, Lawrence. And I'm happy to be here. I would like to thank you for giving me your time and attention. And I will go over some interesting programs for you and some of the inspection processes that you may have heard and maybe not. So I hope I'll become a resource for you so that you can contact me in the future for any questions. And I'll be happy to help. Having said that, let me share my screen and I'm going to start a presentation. Give me a sec to get my screen in order. Okay. Sorry, this part of the header is hiding my menu, which I can. Okay, now I see. All right, sorry for the delay. Here we go. Can everybody see my screen? I
Yes.
think.
Yes.
Okay, very good. If you if you need to communicate with me during the talk, just feel free to just speak out, or just put something in the chat. We can look at the chat. I'll catch up with you with your questions. So today I'm happy to present. My name is Ben Rozenblat with Ben Engineering Buildings Inspections, LLC. And what I'd like to talk to you about today is how to help you close deals with confidence. So just a brief background. I am a professional engineer. I have been doing home inspections over 25 years. Most of my practice has been in Westchester County, New York City, and lately in New Jersey. I started Bengineering, that's my company now, in Skillman in 2023. So it's a new company, but I've been doing this for a very long time. My education is a bachelor's and master's degree in mechanical engineering. I went to City College of New York, and then I moved to New Jersey to have a parallel professional career in science, project management, engineering, and business. Also had a business as a business owner. So far, I probably have over 1,500 commercial and residential inspections completed under my belt. I'm licensed in New Jersey, and I can do also business in New York, as you know. I'm part of major home inspector industry associations. One is called ASHI. You may have heard that. This is American Society of Home Inspectors. It's one of the original industry association for home inspectors. And INTRANACHI, which is another very solid home inspectors association. I'm certified at the top levels in both organizations. I live in Belmead. Those who may have seen me in ShopRite perhaps someday. If not, we'll probably run into each other. I'm married. My children went through Montgomery High School, so I tune with the community. And also, I like to volunteer. I'm part of a Rotary club in Hillsborough. And also like to work with the community. So I'm a volunteer in Economic Business Development Committee in Hillsborough. I'm actively involved in business networking, such as Business Network International and some of the local networks. So that's my brief background. And about the company, the reason I started home inspections many, many years ago, because I just love this process of home inspections. And also I find that very interesting to offer advice to our clients based on my knowledge and experience. So I'm here really to provide best professional advice on property conditions, and that's by assessing, educating, and guiding clients that delivers exceptional clients experience. I value professionalism. I think my clients value professionalism. They like to deal with a professional on all aspects. Thoroughness are extremely important for home inspections, and that's the top value. Objective reporting, it's also very important. That's what we actually provide as our product to the client, and it has to be objective with all the limitations and maybe fuzziness of some of the home inspection issues. It's important to communicate timely, as everybody knows. Everybody's on the clock with the transactions, so that's high priority. And I've been a home buyer myself, and I know that what it may feel like when somebody goes through a purchase of a home. So I do have concerns for well-being of my clients and do anything reasonable that they ask. So working with somebody who is practicing these values for as a real estate agent, what matters is that have a trustworthy inspections, and that typically will create smooth transactions for your buying or selling process. Reliable communication that will enhance your reputation with clients. Clients will rave about vendors that you refer to who perform at the top and provide great customer service. And also very important is to provide a balanced advice so that proper expectations are set and prevent some of the deal-breaking issues. So all those things are important, and those are the values that I'm practicing. Let's talk about some of the services that we do. By the way, I just want to mention during this talk, I'd like to ask you some questions, and I will put those questions on the screen or in the chat. And those who answer all the questions at the end of the presentation will be receiving a e-gift card from Paris Baguette. Okay. So I'll keep an eye on what we're talking about, and if you can answer those questions, you will be getting an e-gift card at the end of the presentation. Okay, so as far as the services, what we do, a lot of the services you will find familiar that most home inspectors do provide, but I would like to give you some specifics. So obviously, I'm involved in residential inspections. Now, this can be anything from condos to estates. During my professional career, I've done all of them, and they vary from, I don't know, maybe $100,000, maybe old prices in condos to $30 million estates. I'm really interested to do anything as far as the inspections, but I'm especially qualified for sophisticated and more difficult type of properties. I do buyer's home inspection, which is pretty standard as far as the services. And majority of my business. Sellers pre-listing inspections, not so common these days, but we do offer that. And new construction inspections. That's the folks who buy homes, and the builders allows them to bring a third-party inspector to give a reports on the phases of a construction. As a specialty inspections, I offer radon testing, and that's something that I do personally. Mold testing, indoor air quality testing, which is a little different than mold testing, but that's a different method. And termite inspections. That's wood destroying organism inspections required by a lot of lenders, banks, and depending on what type of property you're getting, there will be some requirement. And also swimming pool inspections. Those are the services that I do personally. Also, I provide home commercial inspections. Those are available for multi-unit buildings or commercial properties. And lately, I've been doing a fair amount of insurance underwriting called 4-point inspections. That's working for a client who wants to get a policy for insurance, and their insurance company requires them to provide independent third-party inspection of their property, very specific issues. Now, there's some services that are common these days as well. Those that I don't do personally, but I can facilitate them. That means that I can refer, I can schedule them for the client or for the real estate agent with the sources and contacts that I work with. And they would include sewer line inspections, which is also becoming very common, and chimney and fireplace inspections. That's also becoming quite common. Oil tank sweeps. That's typically for older properties. And also septic system inspections. That's looking at the tanks and also all the drainage system from the septic tank. And lastly, I provide consulting. Those are typically more of an engineered nature, or some concerns that may require information that goes beyond standard home inspections. But that is service that we also offer.
Ben, I have a quick question
Yes.
about swimming pool inspections. How do you inspect a pool that has like water in it already?
So that's a very good question. That would be, in my case, that would be a limitation.
Mm.
So I would not. So if it's covered, I can look best I can. If a liner can be, let's say, lifted a little bit, or if there ways some to look at, I can. But typically, if the pool is covered in operative, that would be a limitation.
Okay. But then
Yeah.
with an empty pool, like what would you be like, what are like signs to like look for problems with the pool?
Well, typically, it depends on the type of pool, if it's a vinyl pool or a concrete pool.
Mhm.
But you're looking at condition of the walls, looking at cracks, some unevenness, basically looking at anything that could indicate potential aging or deterioration issues.
Mhm.
And also, yeah, so that's basically the structure of, but usually the pools are not empty. Usually the pools are, in fact, the pool shouldn't be left empty.
Mm.
Uh, they should be always filled, unless need to be replaced. The liners need to be replaced, but pools usually are not left empty. So you have to go through looking through the water, basically. So that's the recommendation. Now, if
Mm.
a more thorough inspection is required, I would refer to a pool contractor who actually they may, if it's warranted, that's to investigate perhaps a specific concern that could be a major concern.
Mm.
They could use cameras. They can maybe even dive in the pool. In many cases, I would also recommend checking the pressure testing the lines, which is could be that's a hidden kind of condition.
Mm.
So the inspection that I do as a swimming pool, it's a visual inspection. So that will include all the visible components, the equipment, the coping, this whatever is visible, but not exactly a further deeper evaluation.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's see. Here comes a quiz. Um, I'm not sure if I can put this in the chat, this question here, because I'm in the middle of, okay, maybe I can type it, but you can see it on the screen. So I'm going to just put question number 1 in the chat, and I'll leave that like that. And if you like, please answer that question. And the question is inspector required to be licensed to perform commercial inspections? I'll give you a few minutes, not a few minutes, rather just a few moments, I guess. It shouldn't be that difficult to answer. And I'm going to record the answers. In the end, we can look at it. Okay. Just give you a few more minutes. Looks like we're getting some responses here. Okay, let me just see. I see a lot of yeses. Okay, so somebody said no. Okay, I don't know if anybody else is responding. Let's see, how many people do we have online? I didn't count. Looks like we have 8 responses so far.
We have 13.
13. Okay, so if you're not responding, that's okay. But I'm gonna you can continue responding till the end of the presentation. Okay, I'm gonna go on, and I will answer this question for you though. Well, actually, maybe I shouldn't be answering if he's still responding. So we'll review them at the end. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Okay, let's talk about the inspection process. So the inspection process that I use is very easy. It's if client wants to schedule or the agent wants to schedule on behalf of the client, it's just either give me a call directly. I'm available, and I will most likely personally answer that call. And we'll just need some information about the property and basically look at the timing when the inspection is needed. And there will be some paperwork that the client will have to sign as an agreement that will all happen electronically. The other option would be to go online. We have a link and just do it without necessarily contacting me. You could do it as a placeholder. You will get a quote, and that can be scheduled just as easily online. Now, on an inspection day, obviously, we will be meeting the client. We like to have the client present. The agent usually is present, of course, to let us in. But the client should be present. I encourage the client to follow the inspection process for their benefit. And I'll do a thorough inspection covering all the critical systems. Those are typically mandatory for residential inspections as covered by the regulations. And I can go beyond certain things, like I mentioned, for example, termite inspection. I will do that. That's not always a requirement, but I will do that as a standard. So we'll cover everything thoroughly. Now, average inspection will take 2 to 3 hours on site, and that depends on the property, and also depends on questions the client may have. So I want to make sure that the client is not rushed and nobody's rushed to make sure that they get the information they need. Obviously, follow efficient process, but we also make sure that all the questions are answered and take as much time as the clients needs to answer their questions. Especially with the first-time home buyers, this is They tend to have more questions or and could be overwhelmed in many cases about the inspections, what they're seeing. So that's something that I want to make sure that if it takes more than 3 hours, that's fine with me. Now, the next day, the client will receive a comprehensive report. We'll talk about the report later on, but it will have clear photos and easy to understand language. Will have a summary list. We'll have a priority list based on the type of hazards or conditions. And so it will be easy to go through that report because it could be very lengthy, talking about 30, 40, maybe more pages. So the report on it, we'll talk about later, you'll see it's a very easy report to digest. Once the report is issued, then follow up with consultation, always available to speak with clients, offer that to the clients and also to the agents to go over the report as long as the client is okay with that. And even when the client buys the home, when they finish with their transaction, any phone consultations are free of charge as long as the clients own their homes. Okay, so when we get into home inspection, what is our main focus? Why are we doing it? The main focus is to discover major concerns, material defects. That's the main focus. So if obviously something that's is going to be very impactful, that needs to be identified and communicated. Now, there's a lot of limitations in the home inspections. There could be very inaccessible areas or things that cannot be seen. So that's a typical limitation of the home inspection. Is that not everything can be seen, and in a lot of cases, not clear what a cause of particular concern could be. So because it's called not technically exhaustive process, it's not intrusive, and it's also specific to the date that that it happens because things can change over weeks and months from the time the inspection is done to the actual closing. So this condition can change. So it's a very specific, and that's the limitation. Now, working with this limitation requires a judgment, critical judgment, and also experience, be able to pick up some telltale signs, know what to look for, and actually be thorough and looking at all its defects. Nobody wants to deal with issues that are missed or underreported, perhaps, and then finding that it's a battle to figure out how to deal with that. Now, the other focus is really to educate the clients. Most folks have no idea how the house works, especially if they come from rental places where they don't have really a chance to really deal with issues of the home ownership or understand how the system works or what maintenance is required. So it's an educational process. During the inspection, during these 2 or 3 hours, the client is amazed what they can learn. I know that happened to me when I bought my first home. I already was an engineer at that point, but I followed another home inspector engineer, and he showed me so many things that I had no idea, opening my eyes that it became a very impactful experience. So educating clients is one of the reasons that we do home inspections as well. Now, when you do home inspection, you see this probably a lot of familiar with this picture, and it's called "Where's Waldo?" So we know the Waldo was a famous cartoonist character, and you will look at a picture like this and try to see, well, where's Waldo? Okay, so I want to make an analogy in a home inspection. Where is the major defect? Looking at a myriad of things that look confusing. They could be similar, um, in different places. We got to find that Walda, a defect. So that's an analogy of the looking for defects in a home inspection process. What really matters when somebody buys a home? Well, again, major defects. That's what we're really looking for. That's what we want to make sure that it's identified. And things like structural failure. Structural issues could be very significant. But also conditions that not apparent that they immediately a major defect, but they can lead to a major defect. For example, leaks. So roof leaks can cause problems because water is a very damaging material. It's very useful for us, but it's very damaging. It creates rot, creates weakness, settling, so forth. There's many things that water, if it's not controlled, can do harm to a house. So certainly conditions that lead to major defects need to be identified. Now, the major defect is something that would fall into really three criteria. That's your ability to finance. Okay, so in other words, they can't afford it because it needs all its repairs, for example, and now they cannot they cannot finance the purchase, or can legally occupy. So in other words, it's just inevitable. You cannot live in house under those conditions. Um, Also, safety hazards, anything that has to do with the safety, especially in a lot of electrical systems, such as live wires, that's certainly not something that you can be overlooked. Now, these categories, that you have to be afraid of these categories, and it's better to identify them and deal with them. And a lot of times they can be dealt relatively inexpensively. And that's something that is certainly a prudent approach. Let's just talk a little bit more about what a major defect is. As I mentioned, major defects fall in the categories of habitability, home value, or safety. If the defect affects any of these three in a significant way, then that's really is the category of major defects. So some examples, say structural or foundation defects. So we see fire damage, some large cracks, significant settling, bowing over the foundation, leaning. Those are examples of structural defects. Plumbing problems, piping leaks, fitting leaks, corrosion, things that can lead to major leaks, active leaks, all that is typically fall in that category. Also urgent, because leaks, you don't want to live with leaks. They can cause a lot of issues. Operability of mechanical equipment and air conditioning, heating, air conditioning. That equipment, if you don't get heat or if you don't get air conditioning, that's not a livable situation and needs to be addressed. Electrical wiring, so different materials that could be dangerous or hazardous, I should say. Type of wiring or how that's connected, the capacity of the system, any kind of exposed live wiring short that cause shock hazards. Those are major because the safety, all safety related. Roofing, siding, water damage. Again, water can cause a lot of damage to the underlying structure and cause mold and rot, and could require significant repairs that are not necessarily visible from the outside until they discovered during remodeling, perhaps, or for the evaluation. Decks, chimneys, or retaining walls, those are typically structural issues, especially decks, because decks, they're known cases of decks collapse. So there's important to provide thorough evaluation of the decks during the inspections. Retaining walls as well, the leaning are usually or collapsing or failing, they're usually expensive to rebuild and reconstruct. Termites damage. Termites cause havoc to wood, and they can cause structural damage. Lots of cases, the damage is not significant enough, but because it's hidden, then it becomes a little bit uncertain, and it's important to identify and also deal with termites, either damage or treatment. Uh, Environmental hazards, radon, asbestos, lead, buried oil tanks, mold, all those categories always cause concern, and they need to be dealt with as well. Now, during the home inspection, I look at hundreds of items. Could be, I don't know, 200 items. And a lot of them are minor. They need to be identified because we're inspectors required to identify and the report, but it's a lot of times falls into deferred maintenance category. But they are mostly minor that won't affect the value of the home whatsoever. But they do require attention and awareness, and um, those are things that capture and report. That's what makes list of items very long sometimes. But again, it's important to identify it and properly explain. Now, as you probably know, but some buyers do not know that no home has zero defects. Any home. If I go to a home, I'll find some kind of defect. It's just a matter of what the significance and what magnitude of that defect is, and whether it makes a difference or not. But that's what the new home buyers typically need to understand, that there's no perfect house, and they're expected to do certain things to keep the house in good shape. And a good inspector will explain how serious is this defect, what they're seeing. Okay, we're coming up. Somehow I'm skipping a question somewhere because we're at number 3 already, but that's okay. So this question has, a basement has poured concrete walls with hairline cracks. Is that a major structural concern? If you would please answer that in the chat. I'm going to put question number 3. And just give you a few minutes to answer that as well. Yeah, I keep saying a few minutes, but it's not going to be a few minutes. Okay, let me just scan, see if what kind of questions, what kind of answers we're getting. Let's see. Okay, I see some no's. Question 3, no. Somebody says yes. Okay, good. All right, thank you for participating. Again, you can continue answering those questions. I'm going to continue with my presentation here. Okay, all right. So a couple of questions. I'm sorry, a couple of slides here. Expectations. You probably know some of these things, but this is a list. I don't think I'm going to go through entire list, but there's certain things that home inspectors are not allowed to do. Maybe have expectations, but there's things that we just cannot do, not allowed to do, and it's good to know. In some cases, it's good to know because client asks, and sometimes the agents have different expectations, and have to explain to them what the inspector can do, what cannot do. So just take a few of these, but some of the obvious, um, the inspector cannot repairs to themselves, a company they own. Obviously, that would be conflict of interest. During inspection, if there's any kind of safety hazards present in the opinion of an inspector, and it's obvious, then things may not be inspected, and that needs to be understood. There's a way to deal with that later on, perhaps. So when the hazards are removed, maybe the items can be re-inspected. But at the time of inspection, that could be a no to inspection of that particular area. There's no speculation. In other words, if inspector doesn't know, needs to say doesn't know, but not to speculate whether there's mold, whether there's radon, whether lead, other things. All these type of conclusions need to be based on testing or on some factual evaluations. The inspector is not a realtor, so there's no way that the inspector would speculate on the home's value. It's just not the role for the inspector. Predicting life expectancy of the system. That's a very common question. How long is, for example, how long my roof will last? Don't know. Could last a long time, could be not. Same thing for some of the mechanical systems like furnaces and so forth. But there are some certain standards and specifications and expectancy of the systems. Those can be explained, but not to predict how long things will last. Building code compliance. That's a different role. Inspector is not a building code official and wouldn't know exactly what the exact regulation or even allowed to comment on that. It's just crossing the boundaries. A lot of times, evaluate the cosmetic testing of a house. So really, that's not the purpose of home inspection. To say that the paint is the wrong color or something like that, or comment on the house. I don't want to say that word, but say ugly house or something like that. That would be something very prohibited, I guess, to say and to act in that capacity. I need to get interior designer and people like that who will help with aesthetics. Anything that need to be moved or disassembled in order to inspect, that would not be required to do. So things need to be readily accessible for the inspection for that day. So it's important for the sellers to provide that access. If things are cluttered or clogged or inaccessible, they should know that to provide access as much as possible. Otherwise, it becomes limitation, and the client the buyers just doesn't get the benefit of full accurate information that way until they move in and they discover some issues, and then they have to circle back and deal with it. Property lines and boundaries, that's the area for surveyors. There have to be surveys, and the attorney can help with that. But the inspector doesn't know exactly what boundaries. Sometimes there's easements and other things that encroach on the properties, and without actual legal documentation, you really don't know. But for fence lines, often is an important thing to identify because sometimes it belongs to a neighboring property, and the neighbor could complain if that the fence is not maintained or require actually the buyer to go to the expense of fixing it. So certain things have to be identified. Okay. Issue a pass or fail grade for inspection. There's no such thing. It's basically an evaluation of condition, provides information to the buyers, and it's not a grade. So it's just basically the buyer has information and agrees to accept it, and between the buyer and seller, then that's what happens. But there's no pass and fail. And the insurability of the home, yes, it's not an issue for the home inspector. It's an issue for the underwriting companies. Some companies set standards. They see that the house has aluminum wiring, for example. They may not be issuing a policy. So those are considerations, but insurability is not the job of the home inspector. Now, all these limitations and regulations, they are in Jersey consumer regulations, and all inspectors have to comply with those regulations. If you need to check on an issue with the home inspector, you can go online. There's ways to check it and see if there's any complaints or issues with their license, but that's done through New Jersey consumer regulations. Okay, let's see where we are here. Okay, these numbers are out of sequence as far as the questions. Sorry about that, but that's okay. Let's do another quiz. Can a home inspector give repair estimates? Okay, again, I'm gonna allow you to answer that. Let me just type that in. Question 2. Okay, again, please enter your answers.
Ben, there was one question in the chat, if you will. What are swimming pool inspection timings, and can a pool be inspected all 12 months, or cannot expect in the winter?
Okay, yes. So as I mentioned maybe before, the pool visually can be expected. Operationally, you won't be able to expect it during the winter months. So you won't be able to see if the pumps work or circulates. In the winter month, it can be inspected using some of the techniques, camera techniques, to go under the cover, for example. Those can be inspected that way. So there will be a lot of limitation. The best way to inspect the pool is when it's in operation during the season, and then and also you get some history of this pool, whether there are any repairs done, whether there are any kind of issues with the pool. But the best time is to inspect during the operation.
Yeah.
Okay. I think just basically this is just doing best you can during off season to get some idea. May be able to work with attorney and put some contingency in the contract to say that the pool will be operational at the time of opening the pool. So those is maybe some of the things to discuss with the attorney, see if it makes sense to put some protections like that in the contract. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next. I think I might have moved on already in the next slide. How am I doing on time? Am I good on time?
Yeah, you're good on time. We usually end about 10:30 or so, so you're good on time.
Okay, so I have a few more slides to cover. So let me continue. Or maybe I just pick up the pace a little bit. Okay, technology in use. So we use all the modern technology that we can in order to provide the objective evaluation. But remember, it's a visual inspection, so we're not actually measuring things when they're doing evaluation. These are tools that are designed just to give a little kind of an indication. But we use the thermal imaging camera. Those are good to look at some of the potential moisture and leaks. Insulation issues also. does require certain interpretation and confirmation of this moisture, for example. But that's a tool that can be used. Moisture meters are used routinely, identifying potential water damage on any kind of stains or suspect leak areas. Carbon monoxide detector, that's used to check, let's say, leaky furnaces or sometimes just to have a concern if there's a concern with carbon monoxide. Combustible gas detectors, those are devices that check for leaks in natural gas, for example. Um, Pole cameras, so that's a camera mounted on telescopic poles, and they can be used to inspect high roof areas or also go into crawl spaces and attics and so forth, looking at inaccessible areas. And soon we'll get into drones. That's probably within the next few months to inspect the hard to reach roof areas. Okay, as far as other technologies, so everything is in the process of communication or reporting is automated. Clients get notifications, realtors get notifications, confirmations, follow-up emails, and that's all automated and it's timely. And my reports are digital. They also can be printed out. That's a lot of pages to that usually, but they can be read online and they're very easily read. And I think I have an example. Let me just go to the next slide. Okay, so let's talk about the report. What the report does is it's modern digital and can be printed. And the features is that they're pretty clear. If you look at an example, I have an example of a report. Let me see if that works. I'm going to try to click on this link. Let me know if you see that. It's coming up. I'll just give you a flavor. This comes up. Okay, can you see this screen with showing
Yes.
the report? Okay, so typically when you get a link, you open a link and you'll see this report and you'll see the highlights of the report. First of all, you'll see your name, their agent's name will be, and the photograph will be on the report, will stay with that report for duration of that report, as long as the clients have it. And then you can see the categories. You can click on, let's say, if you're interested in heating, you'll go to that section and give you, in that section, you see color coding. The color coding refers to the type of hazards or defects. So there's an explanation of what they are somewhere else. But usually these orange means recommendations. The red means major defect or hazards, like it was identified like that. In this case, there was 3 safety hazard major concerns, 31 recommendations, and other categories, maintenance items. Those are minor things that people need to know about, but not necessarily going to affect their livelihood. Okay, so you'll get that kind of report. And if you want to look at the features of that report, let's see what those features. There's a summary. If you just want to look at the summary, it will give you all the summary. You can scroll down, and there will be. See if I can scroll down. You'll see some explanations. Will be also recommended contractors if it makes sense for this particular items. Doesn't have to be. If you have your own contractors, of course, you can use that, but that's a feature that's there. Then you can just look at the safety hazards and major concerns. I think that's what we're looking right now. Let me see if there's a summary here. How that shows up? Shows up the same. And the full report was sold before, but then also you can go here and do a PDF and download the PDF. By the way, this report, you can get this with client permission. You'll get that in your mailbox, but you also, if you have an attorney or their client has an attorney, they get that report as well. But in the PDF form, it's going to look something like this. And again, it's going to go through, this is very abbreviated summary and sample, but if you look at the full report, it will have just a lot more explanation. So I, again, want to give you a flavor of this kind of report that makes a very easy way for the clients um, to follow and for you to follow too. Okay, let's get back to the slides. All right, let's see here. So all this talk here, why would you want to work with us? Okay, I have a couple of good reasons. Let me explain them later. But first of all, working over 25 years in having experience in industry, you're getting a reliable, knowledgeable service provider. Next day and weekend scheduling, with flexibility in scheduling. Somebody really needs an inspection tomorrow. If we are available, I will accommodate it. Weekends, we're available on the weekends. Quick turnaround. That's within 24 hours, you get a report. And sometimes sooner, depending on some of the logistics. And then what you're getting is a clear, balanced, and objective communication. So there's all the uncertainties that you see there with the visual inspections. You want to be clear what's important, what's not important, and how to balance it, not to be alarmist, and not we're not deal breakers. And they're always available to discuss issues. So any questions, we want to be a resource. I want to be a resource for people who have questions that can talk, and feel free to call. Now we have certain special programs for clients and agents, which I'll explain in a minute. But the whole goal is, since we offering customer satisfaction, your clients will feel confident, and they will appreciate that from you. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Okay, so I want to talk about some of the special programs for the agents that I offer. Has anybody heard about a repair pricer? I don't know how you would answer that question to me, but if you didn't hear, what it is that since there was a question before, if inspector allowed to provide estimates. So this is the service that inspector provides, or I provide to the agents. So the agent can provide estimates if you know what estimates are. So a lot of times you faced with issue came up, now you call contractor, find out how much that could cost to repair, so you can negotiate the price or adjust it in your transaction. So this service is free to real estate agents. It's called Repair Pricer. You get it automatically if you accept that with the transaction. So you get basically ask you if you want to use it. If you're not, you don't want to use it, it's okay. But if you do want to use it, you'll get this kind of, I'll just get snapshots of this report. You may not see clearly on the screen, it's very small, but basically you get a report like that, and it will have a summary where it will itemize the areas of concern. So I can read it for you, perhaps if you don't see it. I'm not going to read them all, but let's say Windows and Windows contractor. So that's based on my report. Basically, this report gets fed into this program, and they provide local cost estimates based on the defects that were identified. So they come up with this estimate of these numbers. This could be used as a kind of a first pass, I would say sort of like a ballpark, but good idea what this may cost to repair. And you can see all of them are itemized. And then there's some details. There's the next screenshot shows the details. Again, you cannot read them. I'm sorry about that. It just doesn't fit in the screen. But it basically picks on the left, picks the items from the report, my comments, translates it into the cost estimates. And so you get this could be a good tool you don't have to use it with judgment, but it could be a good tool to give you first pass idea. And then if you want to follow up with your contractors as well, you can do that, but at least you already have some kind of baseline to reference to. So that's free to real estate agents who are on the same deal with me in the home inspection for the client. Okay, the other program, this is called Home Binder. Home Binder is home management application. It's free to agents and to the clients. So the client get this kind of a digital portfolio where they can populate them the records of their repairs with anything that they want to deposit as documents in the house. And if they maintain it throughout their ownership, it can become also a seller's report. Now, this is an example on the left. I'm sorry, well, on my right. So it's what client will get a reminder with periodic maintenance reminder. So in this case, it's a smoke alarm battery. So, and they can look at it as a checklist, and they can address that. Now, this they get this letter also, and the real estate agent information is on this notification all the time. It's inspector and the agent, and this is what happens. The client get reminders. Now, I have a little bit of video to show more details about Home Binder, but it's a couple of minutes video. I would probably let's just continue with this. I'm not going to show the video, but if you're interested, I can show you this video individually or some other time. Now, the other program is this New Jersey Accredited Real Estate Continuing Education courses. These are not extensive courses, but they so 3 or 4 different courses. If you really need some credit and hurry, it's a very easy way to do it because of my affiliation with this home inspection organization, Internachi. They provide the courses. All you need is this ID number, and then register with them, and you can take those courses. Again, if you need more details, I'll be happy to talk to you about that. And then moving on to the next slide. This is also an interesting feature. This is called negligent referral protection. So that's in case somebody decides to claim negligence for your referrals to us. We provide $10,000 protection. So this is done through this International. If you want to register with them, I don't think it needs to be personally with me, just can be any International inspector. Okay. But if you register with them, what they say here is that they will provide this protection for you. So that's available to you. And then let's talk about the pricing packages for home inspections. That's my pricing. So I'm competitive. Basically, the pricing depends on different things: size of the home, age, type of the structure, list price, and the distance from the home base. Basic inspection starts at $595 for one family home, typically under 2,000 square feet, 30 years old, and it goes up based on its other factors. The termites and swimming pool is included in standard inspection fee. The way I explain how the swimming pool inspection and the visual termites, but that's no extra charge if it's part of the property. Also, the specialty inspections, which are typical radon, mold testing if not necessary, or indoor quality testing. Radon starts 175. mold testing is $295, and more if there's more samples to take. And indoor air quality starts $495, and again, more if it's more samples to take. Now, for a real estate agent on your own properties, if you're buying your own properties or your family, I offer professional courtesy. That's 10% off my fees. Also, I offer discount to any members of military, veterans, police, EMT, fire rescue personnel. Okay, and then just to say, why would you choose me? There's a couple of things that you should be aware of. So first of all, dealing with experience, licensed insured top home inspector who's also an engineer. The reason I'm saying top is that because based on my experience, length of experience, education, probably fall in top 5% of all home inspectors. And I've been practicing for more than 25 years in industry to be able to offer best advice to the clients. So that's true. I really like to make sure they get best advice. Objective. So yes, I'm going to balance my advice, but based on some kind of factual reasoning. And you'll find it flexible, easy to work with. So also client focused, make sure that client gets the best. And bringing extra value to clients and agents, as I explained some of these programs. And basically not just expecting homes, but adding value and building relationships. Okay, and if anybody wants to schedule an inspection, again, it's easy process, either the website link, email, or call, and that's the contact information. If you were to go to my website using this link, you can get this page where you can have them book an inspection, ask certain questions, and basically gives the all information as far as the property selecting services. I'm not going to spend time on this right now, just flash it so you can see it. Okay, let's go back to presentation, and I'd like to ask you if you have any questions.
Does anyone have any more questions? I guess we're going to hear about the winner, huh?
Okay,
Hi, Ben.
all right.
This is Kavita. I have a couple of questions. How do you inspect the structure or electrical systems if there's no attic or access into the walls, like in a condo?
If there is no attic access, then you can't expect it. It has to be the attic access has to be provided. If there's any way to insert, let's say, like I mentioned, pole cameras, is there any kind of openings that can be used to go through? Perhaps that could be a way to peek into the attic. But if it's completely covered, then it's very hard. Now, condos, attics, they could be covered by the association. So that's something you want to look at because there's the structural issues there. They could
So
be
if
covered.
there's another unit above,
Yeah, another unit above is that you can't. It's not expectable without dismantling, and there has to be a reason. Actually, there's a suspected, something going on. But if there's a unit above, you also make sure the client has the home insurance that covers leaks and things like that. Okay, I hope I answered your question.
yes, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? I put down here frequently asked questions. Again, in interest time, I'm not going to go through them unless you have your own questions. So let me move on.
I have a
And
quick
let's see.
question.
I'm sorry,
The
go ahead, please.
the course that you noted, is that only in connection with contracting with you for a service, or you were just sharing that information at any time we can go onto that link and look at the courses?
Yeah, you can go anytime. I can send you the link or just basically get, more information how to get on, and you can take it anytime. Just use that ID number.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And hi, Ben. I'm Ruby. I wanted to know the chart you had provided where it was showing what kind of service would cost, what kind of repair would cost this much amount. That is available for agents only, free to take a look at it, so we can um and have an like estimate for the things for the repairs.
It's free to agent if you are on the same deal with me.
Ye-
So if we have a common client, it's free to agent. If you're asking that if you had to see the more examples, I'll be happy to show you how, what the report looks like. But typically, you don't really have to do much to use it. All you have to do is you get a link, just click on it, and I think it'll ask you. It may not even ask you a lot of questions. Basically, he just wants to know who's getting the link, and then you'll get this report in like next day.
Oh, great. It's with the inspection basically once we get an inspection done.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's really a good, that's awesome.
It's
Thanks.
it's a very useful tool. It's a very useful tool.
Yes,
And
it is.
yeah, all right, very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Do we have any other questions? No? All right, so I have the final fun quiz questions. How long Ben has been doing home inspections? That should be an easy answer. Okay, very good. I think most people answered the question. So what I'm going to need to do, I'm going to have to go through this chat and get back with you, unless you want to wait, because I have to figure out who's who. But why don't we go through these questions just so that you know what the right answer is, right? Okay. So before we do that, I want to thank you. And if you'd like to schedule a follow-up meeting with me or reach out for more details, this is my contact information. Can also, yes, I can put this in the chat. Let's see, this is skipping. Let me get out of the presentation. I'm going to put in the chat in case you want to reach out, but I'll be happy to speak with you. Sorry, I just got this here, and I'm going to put this in the chat. And if you like to put your information in the chat, I think that'd be fine. Again, feel free to reach out to me. So let's go through the quiz. Okay, so first of all, okay, I had more questions I didn't ask you, but this part has all the questions. Okay, let's see. Question. Is your inspector required to be licensed to perform commercial inspections? The answer is no. The inspector is required to be licensed to perform residential inspections, up to 4 family units. But commercial inspections do not have licensing requirements. Typically, the folks who do commercial inspections, like folks like me, they have engineering background knowledge that's requires more knowledge for commercial systems and to follow industry standards for that. But qualified person can perform commercial inspections without licensing. Okay, question. Next one, can a home inspector give repair estimates? The answer is no. I think most of the answer no. Okay, because that's not the role of inspector. Now, if somebody asks me how much things will cost, I say I cannot give you that answer, but your realtor may be able to answer that question for you. They insist I can say I can only, give you a ballpark idea. Really, that would be somebody who would be insisting, but I cannot give you repair estimates to the exact degree. Those need to be done by contractors, really, specifically, because things can vary a lot. Okay, let's see. Other question we had here. Let's see. That was so question 1, 2. How long Ben's been doing home inspection? Over 25 years. I think most of you answered correctly. And thinking, was there another question? I think there was
Number
another question.
3.
The hairline cracks in the basement.
Okay. Let's see. Yes. So I'm sorry. So a basement has poor concrete wall with a hairline. Is that a major structural concern? The answer is typically no. It's typically not a structural concern. We're talking about hairline cracks, which are small. They're less than quarter inch, 1/8 inch, that kind of a size crack. And poor concrete can have cracks. They typically easily sealed, just to make sure that there's no water coming through or things like that. But usually that's not a major structural concern. Okay, very good. I think we got all the questions explained. And the only thing for me remains to do is that I'm going to go through the chat. I want to make sure that this chat is saved. Lawrence, just in case I lose this chat, could you please save it? Lawrence, I cannot hear. I guess you're on mute. Let me make sure I save the chat. Cannot save the chat. Lawrence, are you there? Hello? Did I lose everybody?
Maybe he stepped away for a minute. I'm not sure.
He said, sorry, I have to run. Thank you, Ben, for an informative presentation. He had to run somewhere, he said, in the
Okay.
chat.
All right. So hold on a second. Let me make sure I go before we hang up. I'm going to save the chat, and I will get back with you because I have to see who's who. Hope that's okay with you. Please put your contacts in the email so I can get back with you with the e-cards.
Okay, great.
And you can probably send it through Lawrence too, and he'll identify who it is.
Well,
He probably is the winner because that first question probably is the deal breaker for everybody.
Okay, let me since if you're still online, you want to stay online. I'm gonna see question number 1. A lot of people answered yes.
Lawrence answered
I
no.
think Lawrence said no.
Yeah.
So far, yes, looks like the question number 1 got one right answer.
Yep, he's the winner.
Okay. Or I'll see what's what.
And boom, just like that.
Okay.
Okay, very good. I'm not sure what's the next step. I'm ready to stay in line unless you don't need me, and I can get off, and then we can get in touch with each other.
No, that's pretty much it. I'll just have to I was just on my way running out the door doing a lot right now. But yeah, no, that was a really great session. I really appreciate you coming on, taking your time out and going through everything that you do and giving us some insight to your processes. That was really great.
Very thorough.
Very
Okay.
thorough, right? Like he said, right? He said his thoroughness was one of his things, so it was a very thorough presentation as well. So we can only, we know what to expect with your inspections.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to hear that. And again, please feel free to use me as a resource. If you have any questions that may come up, I'll be happy to answer for you.
Awesome,
Lawrence,
absolutely. And you guys can,
Thank you.
you were stepped away. Could you save the chat for me just in case
yes,
I lose
I
it?
did. I saved the chat.
Okay. If you could send it to me, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely. Here, I'll do
You're
it again
probably the
just to make
winner,
sure.
Lawrence.
Got it.
There's a rumor that you might be a winner.
Yeah. I'll come and share your Paris baguette choice.
You got it. All right. Thanks a lot,
Okay, thank
guys.
you, Ben. Thank you all. Have a
Have a
nice
great
day.
one. I'll be sending out
Thank
stuff for
you.
next week's
Have a
spotlight,
great
which will be in
weekend.
office.
Okay,
Bye.
great.
Awesome.
Everybody have a nice weekend. Enjoy the rest of the season, and hope to see and talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Have a
Bye.
great one.
Take care. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.